Okay, so I haven't uploaded a YouTube video in literally like 8 days. And listen, I know a lot of you are rightfully upset with me, okay? I've been getting comments being like, dude, is this what we're doing now? We're going back to the monthly uploads? What are we doing here? You were doing daily uploads and now you're doing nothing. What's going on? And listen, guys, I get it, all right? I get it. You have every right to be upset, but I have an impeccable excuse, okay? I have a really, really insane story before the story to tell you guys because this is the truth. So I woke up 8 days ago, to be exact. I got up out of bed. I was going into my kitchen to make a YouTube video when all of a sudden I realized, I was like, oh, I need to like eat something. I haven't had breakfast yet and I'm starving. So I go into my kitchen, right? And I open up one of my cabinets where I keep like, you know, breakfast stuff like protein bars and, you know, little stuff like that. And yeah, I open up the cabinet to grab a protein bar when I notice something in there. There's a banana. I don't really like bananas that much, okay? I don't really like them very much. They're okay, but I don't really opt to eat bananas that much. So like, I know I didn't buy this thing, right? And it looks like a ripe banana. It's like still green. Like it's a new banana, right? And I'm looking around my kitchen trying to see who put this banana here because I didn't do it. And I'm looking around, right? And I'm like, who the hell put this banana here? And there's no one in my house, you know, no one's in there. And I'm so confused. I'm like, did someone break in? And I literally said out loud, I was like, who the hell put this here? And I go to grab the banana and it talked back to me. It said, I put myself here. And then it grew arms and legs and proceeded to beat the shit out of me. This banana beat the fuck out of me, dude. I was in the ICU for 8 days, dude. I was in the hospital because this banana beat the fuck out of me. Watch out what fruit you're buying, okay? Because they might just get violent. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, obviously I didn't get beat up by a banana, okay? I hope that never happens. I would hope that fruit doesn't gain consciousness and start beating the shit out of me anytime soon. But I do have a good excuse. My PC broke. Yeah, dude. Literally last week, I bought this like VR headset and I was like trying to use it and I plugged it into my computer and it just wouldn't work. It fucked up the headset. My PC was messing up. I was like, what the hell's going on? And I tried doing whatever I possibly could to fix this computer, man. I was like doing anything and everything I knew about computers, so just trying to fix it. And finally, it got to a point where I went to the store to buy a new one the other day, and I got to the store, and I literally found one. I was about to buy it, and then I thought to myself, okay, you know what? Let me go home. Let me try one last thing. And I went home, and I ended up getting it to work. After like messing with it for like 4 hours straight, I was able to get it working. I reformatted everything, started fresh, and so far, it's been good. Do I know if it's going to stay good? No. Do I think it might break again any day now? Yeah. If it does, I'm just buying a new one. I'm not going to wait days on end trying to fix it like I did last time. But yeah, that was why I was gone. I was just literally trying to fix my shitty computer. Unfortunately, the area that I live doesn't have a lot of people that are good with computers either. So like if I can't fix something, I can't really bring it somewhere to get fixed unless I want to wait like a week or two. So I'm not doing that either. So yeah, if it happens again, I'm just buying a new one. So yeah, that was the reason for my absence. It will not happen again, because if it happens again, I'm just getting a new computer the same day and not messing with it for a week trying to fix it. But yeah, I'm back, and I'm back with a banger. This is a story I've been holding on to for a very long time. I consider it one of my favorites. It's definitely one of the top 3, top 5, like, you know, ex-girlfriend stories in my opinion. It's pretty good, and it's a long one, so I know you guys like the long videos, and I'm back with a long one. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Leave a like on the video if you do, and let's get into it. So like I said, in order for me to like really tell this story, it's got to be long, and we have to go all the way back to the beginning. So I'm gonna be giving you guys a lot of backstory here, so buckle up. So yeah, let's take it back to the very beginning of this story, all the way back to when I met this person, the person I'm talking about. So today's story time truly starts off back in 7th grade. Yeah, 7th grader Luna. This was actually my first day at a new school. So I don't talk about it much, but 7th grade, I actually got moved to a whole new middle school. And yeah, I was kind of nervous because new school. And also I was starting at this new school in 7th grade, which was kind of awkward for me because all of the kids there kind of like already knew each other and had their friend groups and stuff. Because like they had been going to this middle school since 6th grade. They'd already been there a year. And I was starting at this middle school in 7th. And I swear to fuck, if I see a single 6-7 joke in these comments, don't. Nah, actually do it. But yeah, I got to this middle school later than everybody else. Like I said, everyone started in 6th. I got there in 7th. I did my 6th grade year somewhere else. So yeah, I had to leave all my friends and go to this new school and be the new kid. And I wasn't very happy about it. But at the same time, I was also kind of excited because it was a bigger school, much more kids, which means more opportunity to make more friends and, have like bigger friend groups and also more teachers. So I thought maybe it'd be a better education there. So yeah, it was kind of bittersweet. I hated being the new kid, but also I saw the, the potential of going to this new school, right? So the first day of getting there, right? That's where this all starts off. The first day I get there. And it started off kind of shitty, okay? I didn't know a single person. I was lost all day. I kept going to the wrong classrooms. Every single class I was in, everybody knew each other and they were friends, and I was like the odd one out. And at lunch, I ate alone, and it was just like, it was really shit. It really sucked. Until my last period of the day. Literally the last class of the day, I was in math, and I was just sitting in the back of the room, doing nothing, right? Just alone, trying to do my work. When like out of nowhere, this girl comes over to me and she goes, "Hey, do you mind if I sit here?" Now we're like halfway through class, so I don't know why she was moving seats, but I was like, "Sure, go ahead." She goes, "Okay, cool." She sits down, and our math teacher was pretty cool. He didn't really mind if you like move seats mid-class as long as you were like doing your work. But yeah, she sits down next to me and she looks over at me and she whispers in my ear. She goes, "Hey, like, sorry to bother you. I had to move over here." And I was like, "That's okay, you're good." And then she's like, "No, like, I have to tell someone about this. The dude I was sitting next to up there, his name's Ethan. He smells like shit." And I actually almost bursted out laughing, like loud. Like I actually did not expect her to say that at all. I almost lost it. I had to like contain myself. And like I wasn't laughing because the guy smelled bad, all right? Like I'm not a dickhead, all right? I understand some people have days where like circumstances come up and you literally cannot shower. Like one time I woke up 5 minutes before the bus got to my house and I quite literally didn't have time to shower. I've talked about it in stories before. That's happened to me multiple times. And yeah, it's just one of those days where you have to throw on deodorant and hope you don't sweat too much that day and try not to be too self-conscious. But yeah, the only reason I was laughing was because literally like I just didn't expect her to say that. Like I thought she was going to sit down and be like, "Hey, sorry, I had to move. Like I just like the back better." Or like, "Hey, sorry, my person at my desk was talking too much." But nah, she was just like, "He smelled like shit." And I was like, damn, it just shocked me. Anyway, after I like chuckled and I like went back to looking at the teacher, she taps me on the shoulder, this girl. And I look over at her and I was like, "What's up?" And she goes, "You're new, aren't you?" And I was like, "I am new." She goes, "Oh, cool. My name's Miranda. Nice to meet you." And I was like, "Hi, Miranda. I'm Austin." And she was like, "You're going to hate it here." And I was like, "Wow, what a warm welcome. Like, can't wait." And she was like, "No, like, obviously you're not going to hate it, but like, this school isn't that fun either." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't really like school in general, so no matter where I'm going to be at, I'm probably not going to like it." So then I asked her, I was like, "Why don't you like it?" And she was like, "Well, a lot of the people here are very fake." And I was like, "What do you mean by that?" She's like, "You'll make friends and like you'll think they're your best friends and then they'll turn around a week later and make up rumors about you and shit talk you and just shit all over your name and reputation." And I was like, "That is fucked up." And she was like, "Yeah." And I'm not going to lie, Miranda was telling the truth because literally 2 months later, someone started a rumor about me that was really fucked up. And I'm not even going to talk about it because I don't even want like the rumor to start again as a joke in my comments. Like it was a fucked up rumor. And it took me like a good 3 months to like debunk this shit and like put it to rest and get people to stop gossiping behind my back. So yeah, fucked up school. She wasn't wrong. But I liked that I met Miranda on this day because it felt good to make a friend on the first day. It felt good to know someone kind of like had my back. And me and Miranda became close pretty quickly. Within like a week or two, we were eating lunch together and like I was eating at her table, which was kind of funny because her table was all girls and I was like the only dude. Honestly, it was kind of cool. I'm not going to lie. There was like a lot of jealous dudes that would stare at me and like you could clearly tell they were pissed off that I was sitting there with all the girls and like at their table and was like invited in. But at the same time, it also kind of sucked because I didn't know at all what they were talking about half the time. Like they'd be talking about like new drops at Victoria's Secret and like American Eagle. And I would be like sitting there like, "Oh, like I'm sure that'd be cool if I was a girl." And they'd be talking about like reality TV shows they watch that I had like never heard of that were definitely meant for girls. And I'm just kind of like nodding my head. But other than that, it was actually really cool. And a lot of her friends, like Miranda and her friends, they were really cool. They were really nice to me. They weren't very judgy and like mean or whatever. I'm sure they might have shit talked me a little bit behind my back because Miranda literally said like friends of hers had done that before. But for the most part, I was just happy to have a little friend group. It was nice that if I wanted to sit somewhere for lunch, I could, or I could sit alone. It was just nice that I had the option, you know? So yeah, fast forward a few months later, things weren't going too bad for me at my new school. I had some new friends. Some were guys, some were girls. I had my own table now, like my own friend group. I wasn't sitting with the girls anymore. Not that I couldn't. They still said I could sit with them anytime I wanted. It's just, I had more people in my life now that I could relate to. So I'd sit with them and, talk about video games and, movies and nerdy shit that I like talking about. And life was going pretty good. And as for Miranda and me, we were getting closer too. I remember we would hang out pretty much 2 to 3 times a week after school. And we were really good friends. And that's all it was. We were just good friends. We'd hang out pretty consistently. And I'd say from 7th all the way to freshman year, we hung out very consistently. And there was no sort of red flags with Miranda. She was a good friend, a good human being from what I could gather. And the more I got to know her, the better friends we became. Now, unfortunately, I don't know what happened, but after freshman year, that summer, me and Miranda just kind of lost touch. We stopped hanging out. I remember the last 2 summers we were hanging out almost every other day, and we were always texting and calling and stuff, and we were good friends. And then this one summer we just stopped being friends. There wasn't some crazy specific reason. I just remember we just stopped talking every day and we just kind of lost touch. We just spent the whole summer not talking, and we just kind of became strangers that summer. It was really, really strange. I still don't really know to this day why we didn't talk that summer. I do remember that she was dating somebody that summer, and I remember she mentioned to me once that he was jealous of me. She told me once that he thought that I liked her, which honestly I didn't. That's the full truth. I did not like her at that point. I just was friends with her and I liked her as a friend. But maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe he made her stop talking to me that summer because he was worried or something. I don't know. But yeah, I didn't talk to her that summer. And I remember when I went back to school after summer, it was super awkward. We'd pass each other in the hallways and we'd look at each other and kind of do a little head nod. But it was you could tell it was awkward, right? It was kind of strange. And I remember I'd see friends of hers, mutual friends, and they'd ask oh, how's Miranda? You still hang out with her? And I'm no, not really. And it was just really weird. So about 2 to 3 weeks into the new school year, one day I'm at my locker. It's the morning. I'm getting some books out, doing, what you do at a locker. And all of a sudden, behind me, I hear, "Hey, stranger." And I turn around, and it's Miranda. And I was "Hey, what's up? How you been?" And she's "I was about to ask you the same thing." And I was "I'm good. How are you doing?" She's "I'm okay. Kind of having a shitty day, to be honest." And I was "Shitty day? It just started. What happened?" She's "Well, on the bus ride here, my boyfriend texted me and dumped me." And I was "Oh, fuck, dude. I'm sorry." And she's "It's okay. Honestly, we both probably weren't very happy. It's fine." And I was "That still sucks. I'm sorry." She's "It's all right. I don't know. I don't know who else to talk to about it. We were so close for so long. I just wanted to talk to you about it instead of anybody else, because if I tell my girlfriends about it, they're just going to say I told you so and, laugh in my face about it because they were always super judgmental of him." And I was "Oh, that's fucked up. Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that to you." And she's "Yeah, I know. Thank you." And I talked to her for about 5 to 10 minutes before class started and, just kind of catching up real quick. And I remember right before we ended our conversation and we went to class, literally as we were saying goodbye and she was saying "see you later," I was "Hey, don't be a stranger, please. Come hang out more, come talk to me. I miss you. You were one of my first friends here. I want to keep it that way. I want to be friends." And she was "Of course. I miss you too. I'll text you." I was "Okay, sounds good." So after this, unfortunately, she didn't really text me, didn't really hear from her for pretty much the whole rest of that school week. And then Friday rolled around, right? The weekend. And I leave school and I'm on the bus to go home and enjoy my weekend when all of a sudden I get a text message from none other than Miranda. And I'm "What the fuck?" Finally. And it just said, "Hey." And I was "What's up?" And she was "Do you want to hang out today?" And I was "Sure. What do you want to do?" She's "Do you want to go to the mall?" And I was "Sounds great." So after this, I went home. I got ready really quick, just changed my clothes, got into something a little bit nicer to go to the mall with because I was just wearing sweatpants and stuff before that. So I want to get a little bit nicer looking. And after that, I just walked over to the mall and I met her there. I also sent my mom a text to let my mom know where I was at because I didn't want to just sneak out and not let her know. And she was cool with it. So that was cool. Anyway, I got to the mall. I met Miranda there. She lived pretty close as well. So she also walked over there. And we just sat down at the food court. We got some food, kicked it there for about 10 minutes or so, just catching up still, kind of continuing our conversation that we had earlier that week. And I ended up asking her, I was "Miranda, why did you kind of disappear out of my life for a summer? I feel I haven't talked to you in so long." And she was "Honestly, I was going to ask you the same thing. And it kind of like came down to like us just mutually being bad friends. Like literally, I just wasn't texting her first and she wasn't texting me first. And we were kind of waiting for each other to text first. And we ended up just creating a bunch of distance in between each other as friends because we were being stubborn. And honestly, I've learned since that day to not do that anymore. Like, and let me tell y'all, if you have a friend and you're like, oh, I want them to text me first, don't be that guy. Just, there's nothing wrong with double texting once in a while. There's nothing wrong with saying hello first. Like, don't be that guy that's like, oh, they need to text me first. Like, that's so childish. Don't do that. Obviously, if you've sent them like 3 to 4 text messages and they're just ignoring you, I understand at that point, kind of like giving up. But texting first isn't a big deal. I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, we ended up just kind of like laughing about it for a little bit after this. And after this, we kind of went to like just talking about people at school and stuff and friends of ours and just kind of like, you know, having a normal conversation. And it felt really good. It was really nice to be friends with her again. Like, obviously, I missed her as a friend and it was cool to hang out with her, right? Now, after this day, we started texting a lot more and becoming friends again. And I don't know where, but somewhere along the way, things started to change a little bit between me and Miranda. Things started to get a little bit flirtatious, a little bit like more friendly than it normally was. And I could kind of start to see myself developing a crush for her. And I think she could say the same. And I remember at one point we were hanging out at this park after school one day, right across the street from my school. And she leaned over to me and kissed me. And I was like, oh shit. Okay. So like she does feel the same. And after that, she looked at me and she was like, do you want to date? And I was like, yeah, I do. And from that day forward, me and Miranda were dating, which was so weird to me because I'm not kidding when I say this. The first couple years of me and her being friends, I genuinely did not have a single feeling for her. But at some point when we got into high school and we like rekindled our friendship and started talking every day again, I just developed this like crush on her and like vice versa so quickly. And yeah, we ended up starting to date. Now here's where things get interesting. This is really where the story kind of starts. So we start dating, right? And the first couple weeks are great. And I couldn't see myself ever having a problem with this girl. Like, we were such good friends before we started dating, and things were so good that I thought dating was just going to make everything even better. I thought it couldn't go wrong. Well, little did I know, a lot of shit was about to start going wrong. So let's fast forward a little bit. At this point, we're about 3 weeks into our relationship, right? And one day after school, I'm hanging out with her and one of her friends at her house. And at this point, we hadn't like publicly stated we were dating yet. Like we were dating and like, you know, we'd show affection and stuff here and there, but we kind of kept it minimal in school. And we didn't really tell anybody yet besides like a few of our really close friends. And yeah, one day after school, we're all hanging out, me, her, and her friend. And Miranda looks at me and she goes, hey, I want to make our relationship public. And I was like, what does that mean? Like, what do you want to do? Like, how do we do that? Because I didn't really know what she meant. And she was like, you know, I want to like put our statuses on like Facebook is like in a relationship and I want to like start telling everybody at school. And I was like, okay. Now around this time, I actually wasn't using Facebook. I actually deactivated mine. I got rid of it because I just thought the platform was kind of like shitty and I still do. I pretty much deactivate my Facebook like once every couple of weeks and like I only go on there to see what my family's doing like really quick and that's it. I don't like that platform at all. It's just full of bullshit and like AI slop memes and like 93-year-olds that like post racist shit. It's just not a good platform in my opinion. It's a lot of bullshit. So I told her that. I was like, hey, I actually don't have a Facebook. I deactivated it. So I'll probably just tell people that we're dating. And she gets mad at me. She's like, well, make another Facebook or like reactivate your old one. And I was like, I mean, okay, I can, but like, I'm not going to use it. Like, yeah, I can get on there and like we can make our status together, but I'm not going to use it. And I'll probably just deactivate it in a couple weeks anyway. And she's like, so you're just going to like put it as in a relationship and then just deactivate it again and like hide that we're in a relationship from the public? And I was like, no, that's not why I'm doing it. I just don't like using Facebook because I don't like the platform. It's not like you. And she was like, yeah, but like how are people going to know we're dating if you deactivate it? And she's like getting mad at me about this. And honestly, it really surprised me because like, genuinely, I thought she was the type of girl to not care about that shit. And she used to be. Like, I remember literally in like 8th grade, we talked about this. And she straight up said that like putting your status as like married on Facebook or like together and like flaunting it around is cringe. So I couldn't believe she was like now becoming the person she said was cringe. But I didn't say that to her. I didn't call her out. I didn't start a fight over it because honestly, even though I was annoyed by this whole thing, it wasn't worth arguing about. And if it was going to make her happy, I thought, you know what, I'll just reactivate my Facebook. I'll put my status as in a relationship and I'll leave it at that. So that's what I did. I went home that day. I reactivated it. I put my status as in a relationship with Miranda, and I closed my laptop and went back to not using Facebook. I just left it activated. I didn't, care, right? Well, fast forward to the next school day, okay? I'm in school. I'm at my locker. It's like 7:30 in the morning. I'm exhausted. I'm half asleep. And all of a sudden, I hear footsteps coming up behind me that sound very loud and very intimidating and very fast. And before I could even turn around and see who it was, I feel a hand grab me on the back of my neck and slam me into my locker. Hard as fuck. And it hurt. I slammed my head into my locker, like inside. And I quickly turn around and I'm like, what the fuck? And I see that it's Miranda's ex-boyfriend, the dude she used to date and that dumped her. And he looks fucking furious. Like he wants to square up with me right then and there. And I was like, yo, what the fuck is your problem? And he's like, you're my fucking problem, dude. Getting with my fucking ex, dating Miranda that quickly too? That's fucked up. And he was mad that I was dating Miranda, his ex. And I still don't even understand why. He dumped her. He broke up with her. And also, he made it sound like I got with her the second they broke up. That was not what happened at all. That's just not the case. I don't remember the exact time distance between them breaking up and me getting with her, but it's not like it was the next day or some shit. And even if it was, he dumped her. It shouldn't concern him what she's doing, bro. Obviously that would suck to see your ex get with someone the next day, but he literally dumped her, so I don't know what the fuck his problem is. So that's what I said. I was like, bro, I don't know what the fuck your issue is, but you dumped her and I don't know what you want me to do. We like each other. She asked me if I wanted to date. I said yes. And then he goes, what the fuck do you mean I dumped her? And I was like, what? You dumped her. She told me. And he's like, I didn't dump her. And I'm like, what do you mean you didn't dump her? He's like, bro, she broke up with me. And I was like, what? Are you joking right now? He's like, no. And he kind of puts his arms down and chills out a little bit, right? And I'm like, okay, we're not going to fight. That's good. And he starts telling me that essentially she cheated on him 3 times or something. And he found out, and when he called her out about it, she broke up with him. And I was like, huh, okay. Now, I'm at this weird, crossroad, right? On one hand, I want to believe my girlfriend. And on the other hand, this guy seems really genuine. He seems really, really genuine. So I was like, well, I'm sorry to hear that, man, if that's true. I'm sorry. He's like, what do you mean if it's fucking true? It is true. And he starts getting angry again. And I'm like, bro, I don't know what happened. She didn't tell me, okay? I didn't ask why you broke up. I just was told that you dumped her. That's all I was told. And he goes, you know what, man? Whatever. Fuck you. He turns around and he starts walking away. And as he's walking away, he throws his drink behind his shoulder at me and kind of hits me with it. Now, if it was anybody else and it was any other situation, it probably would piss me off a lot more. But given the fact that I might have just learned that he got cheated on and he was salty that I was with his ex, I didn't really care. I kind of felt he's just butthurt. I'm not going to get involved. So fast forward to later that day, it's lunchtime and I hadn't seen my girlfriend all day. I hadn't seen Miranda. So I walked up to her at lunchtime when she was at her table and I was like, hey, can I talk to you quick? And she's like, yeah. So we go over to the side of the cafeteria where nobody's at. And I was like, hey, so the weirdest thing happened earlier. And I kind of just want to know if it's true. Your ex tried to kind of fight me earlier. And she's like, what? And I was like, yeah, don't worry. We didn't fight or anything. But while we were kind of talking to each other, he said that you broke up with him because he caught you cheating. Is that true? And she's like, what? No, he dumped me. So now I'm really confused because they both sound genuine. They both sound like they're telling the truth. And it gets to a point where I don't fucking care anymore. I was like, you know what? Whatever. I'm just going to say my girlfriend's telling the truth and not this guy because it's my girlfriend, right? I'll just believe Miranda. So I just kind of was like, okay, cool. Good to know. I guess he's lying then. And she's like, yeah, he is. Don't talk to him anymore. He's just nothing but bad news. And I was like, okay. So after this, about a week goes by, right? Nothing else happens. Everything's normal. And one day, I'm in school. It was in between my second and third period, and I'm at my locker. And from behind me, while I'm in my locker, I hear someone go, yo. I turn around, and it's her ex. And he's standing there looking a lot more calm this time compared to the first time I interacted with him. And he's like, So you talked to Miranda at all about like what I told you that day? And I was like, yeah, I talked to her, man. Like, I'm getting conflicting stories, and to be honest, bro, it really doesn't concern me. Like, whatever happened between you guys, that's between y'all. I do not want to get involved. It's none of my business. And he's like, nah, man, honestly, it is your business, because what she did to me, she could easily do to you, and I want you to be aware of it. And I was like, all right, well, like, you made me aware of it. You told me, so what else can you do? Like, that's it. And he goes, no, man, like, I can tell you don't believe me. You want proof? And I was like, sure, if you have it. And he proceeds to pull open his phone, go into his messages with Miranda, and he shows me texts with her admitting to cheating on him multiple times. So I guess one of her ex's friends was at the mall and saw Miranda with this guy that wasn't her current boyfriend and told him about it. And he texted her and was like, hey, what the hell's up with this? And she just straight up admitted it. She admitted that she was cheating on him with that guy. She also admitted that there was 2 other dudes that she like kissed. So she cheated on him 3 different times, essentially, with 3 different people. And she was straight up admitting to it, apologizing. And when I saw these messages, I genuinely didn't believe it at first. And I was like, hey, can you show me the number of her contact? And he shows me the contact info, and it was her phone number. And this wasn't like some Photoshop messages or like a fake video or something of like messages on an iPhone. Like, he handed me the phone. He let me scroll. These were real messages from her actual number. So yeah, I really like could not believe what I was reading. It was crazy. I also saw at the bottom her breaking up with him. She dumped him. She got caught. She apologized and then dumped him. She said she wasn't happy. She hadn't been for a long time. And she sensed that like he wasn't happy either. Now, after I read all these messages, you could see it on my face. I looked very like, oh shit, he's telling the truth. And her ex goes, yeah, man, I'm telling you, like, she cheated on me and you could be next. So like, you got to be aware. You don't have to break up with her, but I'm just letting you know, like, be on your toes. And I was like, thanks, man, I guess. He's like, no problem. And he walked away. It was just weird, man. Like, I was in a really weird position now because it's like I just learned that the girl I'm currently dating cheated 3 times on her ex. Now, does that mean that she's going to cheat on me? No. But does that also mean that I'll probably have some trust issues because I just learned that she cheated in her last relationship multiple times? Yeah. I definitely had some trust issues at this point. So I texted her. I was like, hey, either at lunchtime or after school, like, come meet up with me. I want to talk to you. And she's like, okay, after school we can hang out. So fast forward to after school. I waited to have this conversation because I knew it was going to be like a long, kind of like winded conversation. So I didn't want to do it at lunch when she was with her friends or like do it during the school day. So after school, she came over to my house. She like rode over on her bike and she gets there. I'm just sitting outside and she was like, what's up? And I was like, look, I don't want to keep bringing this up because I know it's not even like current, relationship stuff, but your ex came up to me again at school today. And she was like, what did I say, Austin? Like, stay away from him. Like, he's bad news. And I was like, I'm not going up to him. He's coming to me. But he came up to me and he showed me messages between you guys. And like, they were real. They were from your number. And like, you admitted to cheating on him and like breaking up with him. And she was like, why does this concern you so much? I was like, look, it's not even the fact that you cheated on him that concerns me. Cause like, that's not me. That's not my relationship. I don't really care. It's just the fact you lied to me about it. You said that he broke up with you. And you doubled down on that the other day when I asked you about it. So like, obviously, if you're lying to me in a relationship, it's going to make me a little bit worried that you might lie about other stuff. And she's like, of course I fucking lied. Like, you know how embarrassing it is to admit that I cheated on somebody? And she had a wonderful point there. That is a very embarrassing thing to admit to. And I completely understand not wanting to be like, hey, I cheated on him. That's why we broke up. Because that's something that you got to be ashamed of yourself to admit, right? Like, obviously. However, there are ways to say that you broke up without having to say you cheated. She could have came up to me and been like, hey, yeah, me and my boyfriend broke up. And then just be like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about who broke up with who. It's no one's business but ours. That's all she had to do. But instead, she was like, no, he dumped me and like he broke up with me. Anyway, back to the story. I basically told her I didn't care what she did. I just was upset that she lied to me about it. And when she said she was embarrassed to tell the truth about it, I was like, I understand that, but there's ways to not have to tell people the truth about you cheating on someone without lying at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to make something up to hide the truth. You could just say, I don't want to talk about it. And she was like, well, it's too late. I already lied to you. What do you want to do about it? And I was like, I don't know, just don't lie to me again. And she was like, okay, I won't. And I was like, okay. And that was the end of the conversation, genuinely. She did not want to talk anymore about it. She seemed very angry about it. And she actually ended up getting on her bike and she left. She was like, I don't want to talk about this any further. I don't even want to hang out. I'm over this today. And she left, right? Now I'm sitting there kind of thinking like, all right, what should I do next? Because on one hand, I really liked Miranda. She was my close friend and now girlfriend. But on the other hand, she just lied to me. And she also cheated on her last boyfriend 3 times. And it wasn't that long ago. Like, you know, this wasn't like it was years ago. It was semi-recent. So I was like, okay, like, should I break up with her? Should I keep dating her? And I was like very 50-50. Because like I said earlier, you know, just because she cheated on somebody doesn't mean she's going to cheat on me. But also, it definitely raised some concerns that she might, especially if she lied to me already. Now, the good news was, I guess if you can call it good news, is I didn't have to think too hard about this because literally 10 minutes later, when she biked home, she texted me and said, I'm breaking up with you. Yeah, she got home and then dumped me that same day. And I was like, all right, that's that, I guess. That sucks, but whatever. She made the choice for me. And the text message read something along the lines of like, hey, I've been thinking about it on my ride home, and it's clear that you don't trust me anymore, and I need a boyfriend that can trust me. And if there's no trust, we have nothing, so I'm breaking up with you. And she had a point. You know, if you don't trust your significant other, you shouldn't be together. That makes sense. And I was like, all right, yeah, this sucks, but you know what? She made the choice for me, and honestly, I was 50-50 myself, so I guess this is the right move, right? So I texted back and I was like, okay, sounds good. Wish you the best. Good luck with everything. Hopefully we can still be friends, right? That's what I said. Just very cliche, very simple. And she replied and said, I don't want to be friends with my ex. And in my head, I was like, okay, like that sucks, I guess, but you know, fair enough. I get it. So I replied and I told her, okay, if she ever needs anything, she can hit me up and good luck. And that was the end of it, right? And it was true. There was still a part of me that wanted to be friends with her because she was one of my first friends at this school. And like, I liked being friends with her. And other than like the lying to me thing and, you know, the couple things that kind of bugged me, she was a really good person, I thought. So I was like, all right, like I want to be friends still. But she didn't want to. And I had to respect that. Well, the next day rolled around and things got interesting, to say the least. So the next day, I get up out of bed. It's a school day, so I get up at like 6 in the morning and I shower and I get ready and I slowly kind of start my day. And I get on the bus and I go to school and I get to school and the first thing I would do every morning before class would start is I'd either go to the cafeteria or I'd go straight to my locker and just hang out there and wait for my friends to come like hang out because I was there pretty early usually. I was one of the earliest buses to arrive, so I had some time to kill before the first class. And I decided, okay, on this day, I'm going to go up to the cafeteria because I'm kind of hungry. They're serving breakfast. I'll go up there and get some French toast. So I go up there. I sit down at the table with my friends that were up there, and I'm hanging out with them, and I'm munching on some French toast. It was pretty okay for school French toast. When all of a sudden, someone comes walking up to my table that I kind of know. We'll just call him Jeremy, okay? Jeremy was at the locker right next to mine. That's how I knew him, because every morning we'd see each other at our lockers, and at the end of the day, we'd see each other. And yeah, he comes up to me and he goes, yo, Austin. And I was like, what's up, dude? He's like, I'm not trying to embarrass you here or anything, but your locker smells like shit, like actual shit. And I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, bro, I just went to use my locker and like this smell came over me, like it overpowered me. And I like put my nose up to the little vent and like it reeks, bro. Like something is in your locker that smells terrible. It smells like shit. And I was like, what do you mean by that? Because like, dude, I didn't have anything in my locker yet. I was still in the cafeteria. I didn't like put anything away. It makes no sense. The only thing that would be in there was like a pencil case, some folders I don't use, maybe an old hoodie. But like an old hoodie of mine shouldn't smell bad like that. So I was really confused. And I was like, Jeremy, are you sure it's not like the locker next to yours or someone else's? He's like, no, bro, like I smelled near those. It's yours. Like there is something in there. I think someone put dog shit in your locker. And I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And all my friends at the table are laughing their ass off. They're like, bro, we're coming with you. We gotta see this. So I get up and we all like squat up and we walk down the hallway, down the stairs to my locker. And Jeremy was not kidding. Literally, as soon as we got like 8 to 10 feet away from the locker, you could smell it. That's how far away we were. Like, it was so potent. And there's one thing Jeremy was wrong about. It didn't smell like dog shit. It smelled like actual dead animal. Like, I've only smelled it a few times, like driving by roadkill on the road, but it smelled just like that. And I remember looking at all my friends and they looked at me and they're like covering their noses. And I was like, dude, if I open my locker and there's a fucking dead animal in there, I'm going to lose my mind. Like, I'm going to lose it. And my one homie was like, bro, who would even do such a thing? And I was like, I don't know, but I hope that it's not my locker. I hope it's someone else's and not mine. And I go up to my locker, I put the combination in, I pull like the latch, I open it, and the smell just gets 20 times worse before I can even look. And then I look down and I see on the bottom floor of my locker fur and something rotting. And I immediately slammed the door shut and I was like, yep, there is a dead animal in my locker just chilling there. That is not okay. I didn't even get a good look at it, bro. Like, I just saw the back side of it. I saw fur, and it just looked so gross. I shut the door. It looked like it was either a possum or a raccoon, but I was like, yo, I'm not opening that back up. I can't. And immediately my friends were like, what the fuck? Like, dude, that is disgusting. Like, yeah, it was bad, bro. Everybody was freaking out to the point where other people in the hallway were coming over and they were like, what's going on? Like, what does that smell? And everyone's freaking out, right? And Jeremy comes up to me and he's like, bro, like, you should go tell the staff about it. And I was like, honestly, you're right. Because, like, that's the only thing I could think of to, like, actually find out who did this is I have to go tell the principal. Because I'm not going to find out who did it otherwise, right? Like, no one's going to come up to me and be like, hey, man, you find that dead animal in your locker? That was me. Like, I don't think anyone's going to do that. So I was like, yeah, fuck it. I'm going to go snitch. I'm going to go snitch on them because they deserve to get snitched on. They fucking put a dead animal in my locker. So I went upstairs. I walked into the main office. The secretary lady was like, what are you doing up here? I was like, I need to talk to the principal. And she goes, okay, well, have a seat. I'll tell her you're here. And like a couple minutes later, my principal calls me in. I go in her office. I sit down. And she's like, Austin, like, what's up? And I was like, this is going to sound like a joke, but it's not a joke. There is a dead animal in my locker. Somebody put it there. I don't know why, but I need it out and I need to like figure out who did it now. And she goes, are you kidding me? And I was like, no, I'm not kidding you. There's a dead animal in my locker. If you don't believe me, you can go down there and smell it. It smells so bad down there. And she's like, are you sure it's a dead animal? And I was like, I'm sure. I opened it. I saw fur. It smelled bad. It's a dead animal. And she goes, what was it? Like, what animal? And I was like, I really don't know. I didn't get a good look at it. She goes, okay, hold on. And she gets on her little phone, right? And she calls in security. Now, there was quite a few security guards that worked at my school, but the one who responded to the call, we'll just call him Terry. Terry comes in, and he's like, yeah, you called? And the principal goes, so Austin's claiming that there's a dead animal that someone put in his locker. I was hoping that you guys could go and investigate that. And Terry looks over at me and he goes, Austin, please tell me you're kidding. And I was like, I wish I was. He goes, oh, shit. Like, just completely broke professionalism because he knew he had to go fucking get a dead animal out of a locker. Like, he was so mad. And he goes, all right, I'll be right back. And he gets on his little radio and calls for like backup to meet him down there by the locker. And we're sitting up there, me and the principal in the office, like waiting for the confirmation that the animal is out of the locker. And like while we're waiting, my principal's like trying to make small talk and like lighten the mood. And she was like, so how you doing? And I was like, I've had better days. And she goes, yeah, I can see that. So like, did you make anyone mad recently that might have done this to you? And I was like, I don't think so. And at first I did think about Miranda, but I was like, no, she's too good of a person to not do that. No way. But like, other than that, I couldn't think of anybody that would do this to me, right? So a few minutes later, Terry comes back to the office and in his hand, he has gloves on and a piece of paper. And he goes, did you see this in your locker? And I was like, what is that? He goes, it was on top of the dead animal. And he wasn't wrong. When I opened the locker and I looked down, I did see a piece of paper near it, but I just thought like it was some old schoolwork or some old homework or something. And he opens up the piece of paper and it says in big lettering, go fuck yourself. And I was like, damn, okay, so someone really doesn't like me. And my principal's like, that's just ridiculous. And I was like, yeah. And she goes, all right, listen, good news. We have cameras. Don't worry. Like, we'll figure out who did it. And I was like, okay. And she goes, I'm going to let your mom know what happened today because obviously this is pretty serious. Like, don't worry, we'll get to the bottom of it. And I was like, okay, thank you. She goes, okay, in the meantime, just go to class, keep your stuff on you, don't use your locker. We're going to disinfect it, probably move you to a new locker temporarily. We'll let you know. I was like, okay. So I go to my class and I get through about a whole period until I get called back to the office. And when I went back up there was a whole crowd waiting for me. I get into the main office, right? And into the principal's office. And it's my principal, my mom, Miranda, and Miranda's mom. And I was like, oh, okay. I know what's going on here. Like Miranda did it for sure. So I sit down and I was like, what's up? And my principal goes, so yeah, Miranda, you want to take the floor? And Miranda's like, it was me. I did it. And Miranda's mom's like, why? And Miranda goes, well, I don't know why. I'm just not very smart, I guess. And her mom goes, Austin, I'm so sorry for what my daughter did. I don't know why she would do this. I don't know. And honestly, I was pretty confused too, because like she broke up with me. She didn't want to be together because we didn't have trust. And then she puts a dead animal in my locker. Like, why? Why do that? Now, I start asking questions that most of them probably didn't even care to know the answers to. Like, where'd you find that animal and what was it? She said she found it right outside the school, like on the main road. And it was a possum. So yeah, poor possum, man. I then asked if she wore gloves when she moved it, because if she didn't, that's fucking disgusting. And she said she had a trash bag in her backpack for like cleaning out her locker, and she used that to pick it up. So yeah, I don't know, man. It just blew my mind. It all blew my mind. I couldn't believe it. Anyway, the principal laid down a pretty serious punishment for her. She ended up getting 2 weeks out of school suspension. And then when she came back, she actually wasn't allowed in our school. She had to be in this other building that was like down the road. It was essentially like a little mini school where all the bad kids would get sent. I actually went there a couple of times, but she had to go there for like 3 months. So yeah, she had to be out of our school for a while. And after that, after the punishment was laid down, the principal said sorry to me and my mom, and Miranda's mom said sorry to me again and my mom. And I was like, it's not your fault. It's okay. Like, no big deal. And just as we're about to like be done with this meeting and go our separate ways, my principal looked at Miranda and was like, Miranda, would you like to say sorry to Austin as well? And she looks at me dead in the face and she goes, you're a snitch. And I was like, okay. Like, what was I supposed to do? Find another dead animal and put it in her locker? Like, I don't want to deal with this shit. I wanted it to be over with. Anyway, I wish I could say the story ends there. She got her punishment and that was the end of it. But unfortunately, it doesn't. So fast forward to the weekend, okay? The weekend after, I was ready to have a nice weekend. I was going to play some games, play some Xbox with my homies, you know, live life, enjoy. It was going to be good. It was going to be a good weekend, right? I actually had plans to go to my friend's house on Saturday. But on Friday night, I had plans to just like play Xbox, right? And that's what I was doing. It was Friday night. I was playing my Xbox. I was enjoying my game. I was playing some COD with some friends. I had the whole house to myself. My brothers were all hanging out with their friends. My mom was out with some friends from work. I had the whole place to myself. I was in my happy place, playing my video games, enjoying my night, right? When all of a sudden, like mid-game, mid-talking to my friends, playing my game, I start hearing really weird sounds outside my house. It sounds like stuff is flying into my house and hitting it. It sounded like a bunch of birds kept flying into my house and hitting the sides of it. And I look out the window because I'm like, what the fuck? And I am greeted to a sight that I could not believe I was seeing. I see toilet paper all over my fucking yard, all over the tree in front of my window, all over the surrounding trees. I see it coming down from my roof in front of my window. And here's the crazy part. The sound I was hearing wasn't even the sound of my house getting TP'd. The sound I was hearing was my ex-girlfriend in front of my house throwing eggs at my fucking windows. And not just my windows, but my house as well. I could see like egg splatter and stuff all over like the left side. And I was like, oh no, oh fuck no. And here's the crazy part. She wasn't alone, bro. It was her and there was 2 other girls that went to my school with her. So she got backup to help her with this shit. I couldn't believe that there was other people that were willing to do this. Now, granted, she probably lied to them and made it sound like I was some horrible person and they had to help her. But anyway, I'm standing there at the window staring at them do this. And they see me looking back at this point and they start throwing their eggs at my window, like right to my window that I was looking out of. And I couldn't fucking believe it. And after they were done throwing their eggs, they threw the carton in the front yard of my house. And the 2 girls that Miranda was with started running away. And I opened up my window and I was like, yo, what the fuck? And Miranda just throws me the finger and turns around and runs. And while she's running, I hear her yell, snitch. And I'm just standing there like, yo, what the fuck, dude? I couldn't believe it, dude. Like, I couldn't believe it had gotten to this point. I don't know how in just a few weeks we went from being so close to like actual enemies. And also, I just didn't know why she was doing this. Like, yeah, I told the principal there was a dead animal in my locker because I literally thought some random person did it and not Miranda. And I wanted to know who it was. And turns out it was her. So now she thinks I'm like some huge snitch and she's throwing shit at my house. And I was like, oh my fuck. So I'm standing there, right, at my window. And I'm looking at the chaos in my front yard and like on the side of my house. And I was like, all right, I got to get out there and I got to start cleaning it because my mom's going to be home soon. My brother's going to be home soon. And I don't want them to come home to an absolute fucking disaster. So let me go out there and start cleaning it. So I go out there. And when I got outside and I actually took a look at the front of my house, it was so bad. Like, it was so bad. It was so much worse from that angle, like from the actual front, compared to like just looking out my window, because I couldn't even see the full scope of like the toilet paper and all the stuff. So yeah, there was egg splatter all over the front of my house and on the left side of it. And I grew up in a house with like white siding, so like there was just yellow egg splatter all over it and toilet paper all over, and it was so bad, dude. And it was on the roof and it was high up in the trees. So I grabbed trash bags and I got most of the toilet paper in my front yard gone. But as for the toilet paper that was up in the trees, I was not about to climb a fucking crazy high tree to get that out and like risk falling. But I did get a ladder and I went up on my roof and I got that down as well. So my house itself had no more toilet paper on it and like there was no more toilet paper in the front yard. That actually wasn't too hard to clean up. I probably cleaned that up in like 15 to 20 minutes. It wasn't that bad. Toilet paper is pretty easy to clean up. You just ball it up in your hands and throw it in a garbage bag. It's not hard. The eggs, on the other hand, that shit sucked. I was out there for a good hour scrubbing the front of my house and I barely scratched the surface. There was still so much of it like towards the top of the roof I couldn't reach, and like it was just hell. And I couldn't clean it up in time. Literally, my mom pulled in the driveway and saw me out there cleaning and she was like, what the hell happened to the house? And I had to tell her the truth. I couldn't be like, some random person just fucked with our house. I was like, yeah, Miranda. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, what the fuck did you do to that girl? Why does she hate you so much? And I was like, Mom, I don't know. She broke up with me. I don't know. And she was like, all right, get in the car. And I was like, why? She goes, we're going to her house. I was like, hell no. No, we are not. We're not going to her house because she'll just think I'm an even bigger snitch and then she'll come do something worse. I'm not doing that. I don't want to like have her come break our windows or something or slash our tires or who knows what. I don't want to like find a dead animal in the mailbox tomorrow. I just want to go back to living peacefully and I want to play my games this weekend and do nothing. And she goes, no, absolutely not. Let's go to her house. Like, I want to talk to her mother. I want to make sure she gets grounded. This is not okay. And I was like, nope, I'm not going there. And she goes, okay, well, do you have her mom's number or something? Can I call her? And I was like, no. And she goes, okay, I'll find it then. So my mom pulls in the driveway, gets out of the car. She goes inside. She goes in like her little phone book. And she ends up finding Miranda's mom's like house number. And it worked. She called and I heard her like on the phone with Miranda's mom. And I could actually hear how audibly distraught Miranda's mom sounded through the phone. It got me so interested that I snuck into one of the other rooms and I picked up one of my house phones because that's what my mom was using. And I don't know if you guys still have house phones in 2025, but back when like I had a house phone, there was multiple of them. There was one in the kitchen and like two in the other rooms. And if you picked up any of them while a call was going on, you could hear whoever was on the other phone. So I picked up the phone and I was listening to my mom talk to Miranda's mom. And she was telling her like everything I said. And Miranda's mom like couldn't believe that her daughter was out doing that. I remember she was like, literally, she said she was going to the mall with her friends. Like, meanwhile, they're at your house TPing your shit. Like, what is wrong with her? And like, she just sounded so upset at her daughter. I felt bad. And my mom's like, look, like, I know it's not your fault. Like, I'm sorry this is happening to you. If you need anything, let me know. And like, my mom was being very friendly. And her mom, Miranda's mom, was actually really nice. She was a really nice lady. I felt very bad for her. But essentially, Miranda's mom was like, look, I'm going to send Miranda and her friends back to your house to clean it. And I was like, no. I straight up said like, hey, it's Austin. I'm on the phone too. Don't let her come back here. And her mom's like, oh, hey, Austin, why? And I was like, I don't trust her. I'm sorry. Like, you're such a nice lady, but your daughter is being evil to me and I don't trust her. And she goes, okay, well, like, I don't want to make you clean it. And I was like, it's fine. I already cleaned a lot of it. I can do the rest. It's fine. I'll get my brothers to help me. It'll be okay. And she's like, okay. And then my mom's like, Austin, get off the phone. Stop eavesdropping. And I was like, okay. So I hang up the phone and I went outside and I just kept cleaning. And like an hour later, my brother came home and he helped me out as well. And we got the house spotless. And honestly, I would have rather cleaned it myself than to ever let her and her friends come back. Because who knows what she would have did. If her mom was like, hey, go back and clean his house, she probably would have came over and like strapped dog shit to an M80 firework and blow it up in my room or something. Like, I don't know. I don't trust her. Anyway, the rest of that night was actually pretty normal, believe it or not. Okay, everything was actually pretty good. I cleaned the house and then I spent the rest of the night just playing my games, unwinding, chilling. Miranda didn't show back up and do anything else, so that was good. And the next day rolled around, and Miranda's mom actually called my house. I answered it. I was like, hello. And she's like, hey, Austin, it's me, like, just checking in, making sure everything's good. I was like, I'm fine. Like, I cleaned the house up. It's okay. And she's like, well, just so you know, like, I grounded Miranda. She's not going to be able to do anything for at least a month, possibly 2. I just want to say I'm sorry, again, for what she did. And I was like, it's okay, really. Like, it's not your fault. And she goes, I know, but like, it's still my daughter and I feel bad. I was like, I get it, but really, it's okay. And after this, I thanked her and she told me to have a good day. I said, you as well. We hung up and I went about my Saturday. Now, remember what I said earlier? I had plans to stay at a friend's house this night. Yeah, I started getting ready for that. I jumped in the shower. I got out. I was blow drying my hair. When all of a sudden, I get a text message and I look down and it's from Miranda. And it says, you're done for. What the fuck does that mean? What in the supervillain ass shit is that? I'm done for? You know how fucking villainous and just wild that sounds? I couldn't believe it. And now I'm shitting myself. It's like, yo, she already put a dead animal in my locker. She TP'd and egged my house. What is the grand finale gonna be? What is the third thing gonna be? I was terrified. And for the next like month of my life, I was looking over my shoulder. I was looking out my windows. I was actually paranoid as fuck. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what was going to happen. I was completely and utterly terrified, bro. Like, genuinely. And you want to know what she did? Fucking nothing. Literally, she knew that it would just make me freak out and panic. So she just said that and then never did anything. Maybe she did have something planned and like her mom stopped her. Maybe she found out somehow. Or maybe like she just didn't feel like it anymore. I don't know. But she never did anything. She just let me live with that fucking paranoia, that pure just like terrified paranoia, right? And for a month, I was just looking over my shoulder. Honestly, longer than a month, even like 2 to 3 months, like I'd be looking. And I remember when she came back to my school, I was like so scared. I thought she was going to like show up and immediately put something in my locker or something. But luckily, she didn't. And I remember like just from that point forward when she came back, every time I saw her in the hallway or every time I'd like cross paths with her like in class or something, we would just like not even look at each other. Just like we'd pretend we didn't exist because I knew if I looked at her, like even in the slightest, I'd probably get some sort of like fucked up thing in my locker or pranked. And if she looked at me, well, she just didn't want to look at me. She hated me. And to this day, I don't understand why. Like, yes, I understand being upset that we broke up and stuff, but that was her choice. Maybe she was upset that I called her out for lying. I don't know, but she hated my guts. And I couldn't believe that somebody I used to be close friends with just like snapped and became this evil villain. Like, I couldn't believe it, dude. I truly thought she had nothing but like good in her heart. I didn't think she was capable of scraping up a dead animal off the side of the road and putting it in my locker and then vandalizing my house and then threatening to do something else and letting me live with that fear. I couldn't believe it. Like, it blew my mind. It really just truly blew my fucking mind, man. To this day, I look back on it, I'm like, yo, this is why I have trust issues. Now, it doesn't completely end there. There's actually kind of a funny conclusion to this story. About a month after she did like the TPing and like the egging of my house, I was in the cafeteria in line getting my food, and behind me was none other than her ex-boyfriend, Miranda's ex. And I turned around and I looked at him, and he looked at me and he was like, "What's up, man?" And I was like, "Yo, I'll make this quick, but you were right." He's like, "What? What happened?" I was like, "Dude, what didn't happen? And he's like, you got to tell me, bro. Can I sit at your table? I was like, yeah. And he ended up coming over to my table and sitting down. And I told him from start to finish everything that happened. He was like, holy shit, a dead animal in your locker? I was like, uh-huh. He's like, and she egged your house and shit? I was like, yep. He goes, dude, I thought I had it bad in my relationship with her. Bro, I'd rather get cheated on than have to like clean out a dead animal out of my locker. And I was like, yeah, man, fair enough. It was pretty gross. He's like, did they make you clean it? I'm like, no, I didn't have to clean it. The school did it. He's like, do you still have that same locker? I was like, no, they actually moved me to a different one. And they asked me like a couple days later if I wanted to have my old one back. And I said no. So I just kept the new one. And while I was talking to him, none other than Miranda walked by. And she locked eyes with her ex because he was talking to me and gave him a super dirty look. And then she just walked away. And he looked at me and he's like, yo, am I like on her list now? Is she gonna like come for me? And I was like, bro, I hope not. For your sake, I really hope not. He's like, oh shit, dude, I shouldn't be talking to you in front of her. I was like, I guess not. And we both start laughing. And yeah, we actually ended up kind of like bonding and getting like close over the fact that we both got wronged by Miranda. And he's actually one of my friends to this day, believe it or not. Like, it's actually pretty crazy when people ask like how we met. I'm like, yeah, I dated his ex and like we almost fought over it. And then she wronged me and then we got pretty close over it. And yeah, I see him like every once in a while to this day. Like once every few months, I'll see him out at like bars and shit that I go to, and like we'll hang out a little bit and we'll talk and we'll like reminisce. And I don't know, man, it's pretty funny. Like the common theme in a lot of these story times is I usually end up making it out of them with at least one new friend. Not every single story, obviously, but there's a good portion where I end up making it out of these stories with a new friend or two. So that's always nice, at least. But yeah, I don't even know what the moral of the story is. Be careful with who you date, you know, make sure you can trust the person you're dating. I mean, shit, I literally thought I could trust Miranda with my whole soul, dude. Like, I literally thought there was not a bad bone in her body, dude. Like, I don't know. Just the minute we became boyfriend and girlfriend, everything changed. That is the moment that everything changed. I don't know. It's like a switch was flipped. It's like that summer we didn't talk. She went through some like Green Goblin therapy or some shit and became a villain. I don't get it, dude. Like literally she was so cool. And then after that summer, when we started dating, it was like a different person. I had never seen her do anything that crazy in my life. Like putting a fucking dead animal into a locker. It's insane, bro. But yeah, moral of the story is make sure you can trust who you're dating. And if you think you can't trust them, don't date them. And if you do date them and they end up putting a dead animal in your locker or harming you in any way or your house, make sure you tell somebody about it, please. Don't let that shit go unchecked. But yeah, that is the story of one of the absolutely just most wild exes I've ever had in my life. From start to finish, how she was my friend to my enemy. Pretty crazy stuff, man. And to this day, I don't understand why. I still don't have the answers I wish I had. Yeah, I don't know. I also have no idea what she's like nowadays either. Like, it makes me wonder, like, what if someone cuts her off in traffic? Does she like follow them home and then like burn their house down or some shit? Like, what does this woman do when people wrong her nowadays? Like, has she gotten worse? Has she gotten better? I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. Part of me wanted to like look into her and see if she's got like social media. Like maybe she's still on Facebook or like Instagram or something. I could like see if she's like, you know, doing good these days, but I don't really want to know. I don't even want to like see her because I feel like it's going to invite like the bad energy back into my life and it's going to like appear and finally hit me with that third thing. But yeah, that's the end of the story, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. Definitely a long one coming at you with an hour-long video today. So leave a like for that if you enjoy the 1-hour videos. And yeah, if these keep getting support, I will keep making them. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this story time. As always, if you enjoyed it, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all later. Peace.
I'm in a bad mood, I can see it today. I remember all my friends and now I'm all that remains. I got some bad news, gotta go, I can't stay.